Before we begin, I want you to pause for just a moment because there is a lot of information circulating right now about Social Security, SSI, and SSDI, and not all of it is being explained clearly. You may have seen headlines talking about $1,200 increases, multiple new bills, or major changes coming soon. Some of that information is being misunderstood, some of it is being exaggerated, and some of it is still only in the discussion stage. In this video, we are going to slow everything down, cut through the noise, and focus only on what is actually happening in Congress, what is real, what is proposed, and what you truly need to know so you can stay informed without unnecessary worry or false expectations. Thank you for taking the time to be here today. Whether you are a senior, someone living with a disability, or a family member helping a loved one navigate Social Security, SSI, or SSDI, this information matters. There is a lot of noise online right now, and it can be difficult to tell the difference between confirmed updates and early-stage proposals. In this video, we are going to take a clear, realistic look at what lawmakers are discussing, why these conversations are happening, and what they could mean for beneficiaries moving forward. My goal is to give you accurate context, reduce confusion, and help you understand these updates in a way that allows you to stay informed, prepared, and grounded in facts, not headlines. Social Security, SSI, and SSDI, a full, clear, and realistic breakdown of what's being discussed. Over the past several months, attention around Social Security, supplemental security income, and Social Security disability insurance has grown significantly. Online platforms are filled with headlines, thumbnails, and posts suggesting major increases, large dollar amounts, and sweeping reforms. Terms like $1,200 increase, 5 new bills, and payments coming soon are being repeated again and again. For individuals and families who rely on these programs for basic financial security, this kind of information can be emotionally powerful. For many people, it brings hope. For others, it creates worry or uncertainty. And for a large number of viewers, it simply raises questions. What is real? What is exaggerated? What is still being debated? And what, if anything, will actually change? That is the purpose of this video. The goal here is not to generate excitement or fear. It is not to predict outcomes or make promises. Instead, this video is designed to slow the conversation down, separate fact from speculation, and explain in plain, realistic terms what lawmakers are discussing, why these conversations are happening, and what they could mean for beneficiaries in the future. Across the country, seniors, people with disabilities, and low-income individuals are facing increasing financial pressure. Grocery prices remain elevated. Rent and housing costs continue to stretch household budgets. Utilities, transportation, and insurance premiums are higher than they were just a few years ago. Medical costs, especially for prescription drugs, medical equipment, and ongoing treatment, continue to rise at a pace that often exceeds general inflation. For individuals living on fixed monthly incomes, these rising costs create real hardship. Even small increases in everyday expenses can force difficult choices between food and medication, between utilities and rent, or between basic needs and emergency savings. These realities are not theoretical. They are being felt every single day by millions of households. These conditions are a major reason why Social Security-related programs are receiving renewed attention in Congress. Lawmakers from different political backgrounds agree on one thing: many beneficiaries are struggling to keep up. Where they differ is in how to address the problem, how much changes should cost, and how those changes should be implemented. This is why multiple bills are being introduced at the same time. It is important to understand that these bills are not part of a single coordinated plan. They are separate proposals introduced by different lawmakers, each focused on a specific issue. Some aim to adjust benefit calculations. Others focus on eligibility rules. Some are designed to strengthen long-term funding, and many are introduced simply to start a conversation rather than to become law immediately. One of the most commonly misunderstood topics is the reference to a $1,200 increase. When people hear this number, it is natural to assume it refers to a direct payment or a guaranteed check. At this time, there is no approved $200 payment for all Social Security, SSI, or SSDI recipients. No such payment has been authorized, scheduled, or announced by the government. In most cases, the $100 figure is an estimate rather than a promise. It may represent an annual total based on projected monthly increases. It may reflect a cumulative increase over several years. Or it may be a maximum amount that only applies under certain conditions. When this number appears in headlines without explanation, it can easily be misunderstood as immediate cash assistance. For example, if a proposal suggested a $100 monthly increase under specific eligibility rules, that amount could be described as $1,200 per year. That does not mean beneficiaries would receive a one-time $1,200 payment. It simply reflects how annual figures are sometimes calculated for discussion purposes. Another major area of focus involves cost of living adjustments, or COLA. COLA increases are intended to help benefits keep pace with inflation. Currently, these adjustments are based on an inflation index that measures general consumer spending patterns. However, many experts and advocacy groups argue that this approach does not accurately reflect the expenses faced by seniors and people with disabilities. Older adults typically spend a higher percentage of their income on healthcare, prescription drugs, housing, and personal care. These costs often rise faster than the prices of other consumer goods. When COLA is based on broader inflation measures, benefit increases may fall short of covering real-world expenses. Because of this, some proposals suggest switching to an alternative inflation index that places greater weight on healthcare and housing costs. If such a change were adopted, it would likely result in gradual benefit improvements over time rather than a large immediate increase. This long-term effect is one reason why larger annual figures sometimes appear in policy discussions. Another group of proposals focuses on minimum benefit protections. These ideas are aimed at individuals who worked for many years, often in physically demanding or low-paying jobs, but now receive benefits that are barely enough to meet basic needs. Supporters argue that long-term contributors should not be left struggling in retirement or during disability simply because their wages were low. Under these proposals, benefits for certain long-term recipients could be recalculated if their income falls below specific thresholds. However, these changes would depend heavily on individual circumstances. Work history, earnings records, and eligibility rules all play a role. These adjustments would not apply universally, and not every beneficiary would see an increase. There has also been discussion around temporary or supplemental financial relief during periods of high inflation or economic stress. These ideas are sometimes compared to past emergency assistance programs, which can create expectations of immediate payments. At this time, no such relief payments have been approved for Social Security, SSI, or SSDI recipients. Any proposal for temporary assistance would require clear decisions about funding, eligibility, and implementation. These steps involve negotiation, debate, and administrative planning. Until legislation is passed and officially announced, these ideas remain proposals rather than guarantees. Several bills currently under discussion focus on the long-term financial stability of the Social Security system. These proposals explore options such as adjusting the payroll tax cap, modifying revenue structures, or closing certain tax loopholes. The goal of these measures is to ensure that benefits can continue to be paid for decades to come. Supporters argue that strengthening the system's finances could make future benefit improvements more sustainable. Critics raise concerns about economic impacts and fairness. These debates are complex and often slow-moving, which is why major changes to Social Security typically take years rather than months. For SSI recipients, some proposals aim to modernize outdated asset limits and income rules. These limits have remained largely unchanged for decades, despite dramatic increases in the cost of living. As a result, many SSI recipients are unable to save even small amounts of money without risking their eligibility. Raising asset limits or adjusting income exclusions would not necessarily increase monthly payments immediately. However, these changes could allow recipients to build modest savings, handle emergencies more effectively, and experience greater financial stability. For many people, this kind of flexibility can make a meaningful difference in daily life. SSDI-related discussions often focus on access, efficiency, and work incentives rather than direct payment increases. Long application delays and administrative backlogs remain serious challenges. Some proposals aim to streamline the application process, reduce wait times, and expand programs that allow beneficiaries to attempt limited work without immediately losing benefits. These changes may not raise monthly payments, but they can provide greater security and independence for individuals who want to remain active to the extent their health allows. When people hear that 5 new bills have been introduced, it is important to remember that each bill must go through a long legislative process. This includes committee review, debate, amendments, and votes in both the House and the Senate. Many bills never become law. Others may be revised, combined, or incorporated into larger legislative packages. This is why early-stage proposals should never be mistaken for confirmed changes. Online headlines and social media posts often simplify complex policy discussions into short, attention-grabbing phrases. While this can increase awareness, it can also create confusion and unrealistic expectations. At this time, there is no approved universal $1,200 increase for Social Security, SSI, or SSDI recipients. Any future changes would likely be targeted, phased in over time, and based on specific eligibility criteria. For beneficiaries, the most important step is staying informed through reliable and official sources. Any actual changes to benefits are always announced publicly before they take effect. Making financial decisions based on unverified information can lead to unnecessary stress. The renewed focus on Social Security reform reflects broader concerns about economic security, aging, disability support, and fairness. Even proposals that do not pass immediately can influence future discussions and return in revised forms. As these conversations continue throughout the year, there will likely be updates, revisions, and new proposals. While no immediate increase has been finalized, the ongoing debate shows that lawmakers are actively examining the challenges beneficiaries face. The most important takeaway is this: proposals are not payments, discussions are not guarantees, and legislation takes time. Staying informed, patient, and realistic allows you to navigate these updates with confidence and clarity. As we wrap up, it's important to step back and look at this logically. Right now, what we are seeing are discussions, proposals, and ideas, not finalized payments or guaranteed changes, and that raises an important question worth thinking about. If a real increase or new payment were officially approved, would you be hearing about it first through rumors and headlines or through clear, direct announcements from official sources? That question alone can help you separate speculation from facts. Staying informed, patient, and realistic puts you in the strongest position to respond wisely when real updates actually happen.